My mother watered the stone every day. She said that if she watered it 2,000 times, the stone would grant any wish. But I didn't believe her at all. I picked up a crowbar and knocked the stone over. Then I picked it up and carried it away. The villagers immediately clasped their hands together and began praying. But what they didn't expect was, I carried the stone straight to the waterfall. Then I told my mother that this would water it 5,000 times in an instant. But soon something magical happened. Suddenly a mask fell at my feet. From that day on, I stared at the mask every day, until one day I accidentally made a rubbing of the face on the mask. I slowly began to draw the face of the mask's owner, but I felt a stirring in my heart. So I rushed upstream toward the waterfall. When I reached the waterfall's upper stream, I saw a fairy covered in colorful butterflies. Then I jumped toward the fairy with all my might, but as soon as I grabbed the branch, the fairy disappeared. I followed the fairy's guidance, climbing for 3 days and nights through the waterfall. I finally made a bow and arrow from a branch. With one leap, I shot an arrow. The sword pierced the giant tree at the mountaintop and got stuck. I finally reached the top. At that moment, the fairy was right in front of me. I reached out to touch her, but Alice turned into a butterfly and flew away. I searched the woods for the fairy's trace. Suddenly, I heard a scream. I rushed over to check. I found Alice running out of the woods, and behind her, a group of soldiers were chasing her. Clearly, Alice was being hunted. To prevent Alice from being harmed, I followed them. What I didn't expect was, just when the soldiers were about to catch Alice, she suddenly shouted a mysterious incantation. A sword suddenly flew from the air. Alice turned and the sword pierced through the soldier's body. Then the other soldiers also fell down. It turned out there were many archers hidden in the trees. Alice killed all the soldiers below without getting a single drop of blood on her. At that moment, I felt a stir in my heart. So to capture her, I set a trap to lure her over. Before long, she fell into the trap. I happily went to check, but then I felt a sword pressed against my back. She had somehow hidden behind me. The sword pierced into my body. I then said that I had fallen in love with her and hugged her tightly. Unfortunately, we rolled down the snow-covered mountain. Alice was extremely angry at that moment. She wanted to kill me, but I did a backflip and tore off her sleeve. Then I turned around and removed her outer clothes, lifted her fluffy long hair, and pressed her under the waterfall to bathe. I crushed some fruit and applied eyeliner and lipstick on her. She turned around and saw that I was holding her lost mask. At that moment, she realized I had come for her. She then hugged me, moved by my gesture, but she still needed to save the princess. She took the opportunity to drug me and left alone. But as soon as she stepped out, something unexpected happened. A soldier suddenly threw a fishing net, successfully capturing Alice. Just as they were about to bully Alice, I showed up in time. Seeing the soldiers getting closer, I quickly pushed a giant rock down. It successfully blocked the pursuing soldiers. But what I didn't expect was, the impact of the rock triggered a landslide. I quickly tore off some tree bark and slid out with Alice. Just as the snow was about to bury us alive, we saw a cliff ahead. Then I rushed forward. We narrowly escaped death. Not long after I arrived at the palace. At the palace, a giant king statue was being erected, but unexpectedly a slave slipped and caused a chain reaction.